If you're not receiving the correct protein in the right form at the right time, you may be doing everything right, going to the gym, eating healthily, getting enough sleep, and still you're losing muscle each year. This is where the innovation of today is useful. A straightforward diet that has been shown to trigger the potent mTOR pathway for muscle development and repair and is higher in leucine than eggs. And no, it's not a fad vitamin or powder. This meal is authentic. And this is what I've promised you. Using just food timing and a few minor daily adjustments, you will leave this episode with a clear, scientifically supported plan to maintain your strength, enhance your intellect, and remain independent into your 70s and beyond. There is just one significant alteration that might alter the way you age going forward. No tricks or guesses. The power of casein and protein timing. Most individuals would respond eggs if you ask them to name a food that is high in protein. And with good reason. Because they are inexpensive, high in nutrients, and bioavailable, eggs are almost the ideal diet. About 6 grams of high-quality protein, full of important amino acids, may be found in one big egg. The surprising thing is that cottage cheese is even more effective at promoting nighttime muscle maintenance and has a higher protein content per serving. Let's be more precise. More than 2 eggs and 14 grams of protein, mostly casein, a slow-digesting protein, are found in a normal half-cup portion of low-fat cottage cheese. This gradual absorption is significant. Your body goes through a sort of natural fasting condition when you sleep. You will probably spend 8 to 10 hours without eating between supper and breakfast. Your body may start breaking down muscle tissue to satisfy its demands if it doesn't have a consistent supply of amino acids throughout this period, particularly if you're over 30 when sarcopenia starts to worsen. Because casein protein digests slowly and releases amino acids into the circulation for up to 7 hours, here is where it becomes strong. As you sleep, it produces a continuous flow of nutrition for your muscles. It's similar to giving your muscles an intravenous flow of recovery food, which increases protein synthesis and decreases catabolism at night. Think of this as eggs. Their protein is absorbed much more quickly, which is great in some situations, such as after an exercise, but less helpful for nighttime muscle maintenance, even if they are high in nutrients like choline and vitamin D. Participants who took 40 grams of casein protein before bedtime had noticeably more nightly muscle protein synthesis than those who did not, according to a 2012 research published in Medicine and Science in Sports and Exercise. This is further supported by more recent study from Nutrients 2019, which highlights how pre-leucine protein ingestion enhances muscle development and strength improvements, particularly in older individuals. Therefore, cottage cheese, the item we are discussing, is more than simply a snack. It's a timing tool that helps your body transition from muscular breakdown phase to repair mode when consumed 30 to 60 minutes before bed. Half to 1 cup of low-fat cottage cheese and 14 to 28 grams of protein are recommended as part of the pre-sleep muscle regimen. For taste and extra nutrients, you can optionally add cinnamon, a few walnuts, or a teaspoon of honey. Eat 30 to 60 minutes before bed, preferably after a long, active day or after resistance exercise. But what about lactose intolerance, you ask? Excellent query. The secret is slow digesting, leucine-rich protein that sustains your muscles all night long. Many cottage cheese products are now lactose-free, and other substitutes, such as casein protein isolate, have comparable advantages. Eating a lot of protein isn't the only way to preserve muscle. The question is what type and when. Cottage cheese works because it fits in with the natural cycles of muscle protein turnover and digestion, not because it's fashionable or novel. Imagine if your body had a switch that, when turned on, instructed your muscles to maintain, develop, and heal themselves. There is such a switch. It's known as mechanistic target of rapamycin, or mTOR for short. Additionally, it is among your body's most potent controllers of muscle protein synthesis. The caveat is that mTOR isn't always available. Actually, it's either inactive or barely slightly stimulated most of the time, especially as we become older. For this reason, merely increasing protein intake does not necessarily result in muscle preservation. Leucine is a particular amino acid that is required in a threshold quantity to fully activate mTOR. One of the branched-chain amino acids, BCAAs, is leucine. It is essential for telling your muscle cells to begin the process of repair. A cascade of muscle-building activity is triggered when you turn the mTOR switch and consume enough leucine, usually 2.5 to 3 grams each meal. It would be like having building supplies but no supervisor to oversee the construction without leucine. How does this relate to cottage cheese then? In contrast to many plant-based sources and even certain meats, cottage cheese naturally contains a lot of leucine. About 2.6 grams of leucine, which is sufficient to promote muscle protein synthesis in most individuals, may be found in 1 cup of low-fat cottage cheese. This makes it a calculated decision for both starting the muscle-building process and supplying protein in general. Even when total protein consumption was same, leucine-rich meals enhanced muscle protein synthesis by up to 25% more than meals with lower leucine content, according to a 2006 research published in the Journal of Nutrition. Leucine supplementation increased older people's muscle gain and strength without requiring them to alter their exercise regimen, according to a different 2011 study published in Clinical Nutrition. Thus, quality is more important than quantity. Your muscle mass may benefit more from a bowl of cottage cheese before bed than from a bigger but lower leucine meal. The leucine threshold procedure is a tool that you may utilize immediately. Aim for 2.5 to 3 grams of leucine every meal. This is equivalent to 2.5 scoops of the majority of whey protein powders, 5 ounces of chicken breast, or 1 cup of cottage cheese. Distribute 3 to 4 meals a day that are high in protein. Strength isn't the only factor in maintaining muscular mass. Through processes including insulin sensitivity, brain-derived neurotrophic factor, BDNF, and inflammatory regulation, research now demonstrates a substantial correlation between mental resilience and muscular health. In actuality, older persons who have poor muscle mass are more likely to experience sadness and cognitive impairment. Therefore, by activating mTOR and increasing muscular mass, you're not just enhancing your movement, but also your thoughts and emotions. Additionally, as people age, their mTOR activity normally decreases. For this reason, in order to get the same anabolic reaction, older persons frequently require higher amounts of protein and leucine per meal than younger ones. Eating for your age and biology is more important than eating like you're 25. Not only is muscle composed of protein, but the proper kind of protein signals for muscle to form, and the most important signal is leucine. The majority of individuals believe that age or inactivity are the only causes of muscle loss. However, the fact is that improperly timed protein consumption is a key contributor to sarcopenia, the progressive loss of muscle with aging. Your internal clock has a significant impact on your body's capacity to maintain and grow muscle. Your circadian rhythm, a biological time system, controls not just your energy and sleep patterns, but also how efficiently your cells absorb and use nutrients. The process of muscle protein synthesis, MPS, is not continuous. It has periods of increased sensitivity, particularly in the morning, during sleep, and after resistance training. However, your body may go into a condition of net muscle breakdown if you eat too little of the proper sort of protein or omit it during specific times. Most individuals consume very little protein at morning and most of it at dinner. Compared to distributing protein uniformly throughout 3 to 4 meals a day, this unequal distribution eventually results in reduced total muscle protein synthesis, according to a 2020 review published in the Journal of Nutrition. Research has indicated that eating protein just before bed, particularly slow-digesting proteins like casein, can greatly improve muscle regeneration overnight. This is due to the fact that sleep is a critical period for memory consolidation, tissue repair, and growth hormone release. Your body cannot carry out these tasks at their best if it is deficient in amino acids during that time. Pre-bed protein consumption boosted strength gains over 12 weeks of training and increased nightly muscle protein synthesis by 22%, according to a 2015 research published in Frontiers in Nutrition. Even when the overall daily protein consumption remained the same, people who took 30 to 40 grams of casein protein before bed gained more lean mass than those who did not, according to another research published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition. The 3 times protein distribution procedure is a straightforward tool. At breakfast, lunch, and supper, have 20-40 grams of protein. Include a pre-bed protein meal, such as a 30-gram casein smoothie or 1 cup of cottage cheese. Eat meals high in protein within an hour of waking up and 2 hours after working exercise. That protein becomes even more potent if you work out in the evening, since it will coincide with your body's natural recovery cycles while you sleep, as well as increased muscle repair signaling. Consuming a balanced protein diet helps to maintain dopamine synthesis, lower blood sugar spikes, and prolong mental acuity. This is how we go from eating at random to strategically nourishing ourselves, from responding to hunger to adjusting to our biology. Because strength is developed not only in the gym, but also in the kitchen, and is safeguarded when you sleep. Muscle is the brain's medication. It's neuroscience, not a metaphor. Moving over space isn't the only function of skeletal muscle. This metabolically active tissue affects hormone balance, blood sugar management, and even brain plasticity. Your body releases chemicals known as myokines when you contract your muscles, whether it be from walking, resistance training, or even isometric stress. Muscle fibers produce these tiny signaling proteins, which go through the circulation and interact with your brain and other organs. Irisin, one of the most potent myokines, is released during exercise and has been demonstrated in research to increase brain-derived neurotrophic factor, BDNF. BDNF, also referred to as the brain's fertilizer, is a crucial chemical that promotes the development of new neurons and synapses. It is essential for memory, learning, and controlling emotions. Therefore, maintaining lean muscle, particularly through activity and a diet high in protein, not only increases strength, but also resilience, mental clarity, and emotional stability. Regardless of physical activity, a research in the Journal of Clinical Endocrinology and Metabolism revealed that older persons with lower muscle mass had considerably greater levels of depressive symptoms. Higher midlife muscle mass was associated with a decreased risk of dementia later in life, even after controlling for lifestyle and cardiovascular variables, according to another research published in Neurology 2022. Additionally, muscle increases insulin sensitivity, which lessens blood glucose spikes and crashes that can cause weariness, mood swings, and cognitive fog. One of the main causes of age-related cognitive loss is chronic low-grade inflammation, which is lessened by muscle. It has been demonstrated that resistance exercise with enough protein, particularly from leucine-rich foods like cottage cheese, can lower inflammatory markers like CRP and IL-6. Eat meals high in protein, regularly spaced throughout the day, particularly before bed, to promote a dual muscle-brain circuit. 2 to 4 times a week, engage in strength training, even with resistance bands or body weight. Take between 7,000 and 10,000 steps a day to promote the continuous release of myokines. Make sleep and water a priority since they are critical for both cognitive function and muscular repair. Not only do proteins differ in their amino acid composition, but they also differ in how quickly or slowly they digest. This is significantly more important than most people think, since the rate at which amino acids enter your bloodstream may determine whether your muscles break down or repair themselves, especially when it comes to maintaining muscle during periods of fasting like sleep or extended workdays. Whey and eggs are examples of fast-digesting proteins that rapidly raise amino acid levels, which makes them perfect for post-workout when your muscles are ready for swift repair. Casein, the main protein in cottage cheese, is one example of a slow-digesting protein. It releases amino acids gradually over 6 to 8 hours, giving you a consistent anabolic impact. This is especially helpful when you're not eating. In 1997, a seminal research comparing casein and whey protein was published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition. Use bodyweight workouts or resistance bands. Pay attention to complicated motions. Prioritize consistency over intensity while training until you are almost exhausted. Daily movement. Try to get in 30 minutes of gentle exercise or walk 7,000 to 10,000 steps each day. Short spurts of intensity, such as hill hikes or stair climbs, are optional. 7 to 9 hours is the ideal amount of sleep. 60 minutes before bedtime, wind down in low light. If you have trouble falling asleep, think about taking breath work or magnesium glycinate. Make regular wake and sleep times a priority. Steer clear of muscle saboteurs. Reduce your intake of alcohol, highly processed meals, and extended periods of inactivity. If you want to preserve your muscles, don't rely too much on cardio. The key is balance. Cut down on ongoing tension. The goal of this technique is alignment, not perfection. You don't have to train like an athlete or stress about macros, but you do need to give your body the signals and resources it needs to develop and preserve your muscle, which is the foundation of your independence. Because your body is raised off of a chair by muscle. As you age, it's what keeps your joints stable, controls your energy, sharpens your mind, and keeps you alive. As you become older, you don't lose muscle. When you cease providing your body with the motivation and resources to maintain muscle, you lose it. You have the means to accomplish that now. We began our adventure with the straightforward notion that there is a meal that may help you combat muscle loss quickly and contains more protein than eggs. But we discovered something more profound along the road. We discussed how to maintain your ability to live, move, and think with power as you age, not simply protein. Let's review the insights supported by science. Cottage cheese is a tool as well as a food. Rich in slow-digesting casein and higher in protein than eggs, it's well-suited to power your muscles all night long. The mTOR pathway is activated by leucine, which causes muscle development. Your muscle repair system remains asleep if you don't reach that leucine threshold each meal. It's all about timing. Protein works best when it is spread apart. Please click the like button if you thought this video was useful. The channel benefits greatly from it. In order to ensure that you never miss any more videos, remember to subscribe and activate the notification bell. Please leave a comment below with your comments. I'd love to know what you think. I'll see you in the next one, and thanks for watching.